Hello all you wonderful people. Welcome back to Meeple Bits. I'm Ryan Novak. As royal architects, players compete to impress their king and maintain their noble status by constructing various landmarks throughout his newly appointed domain. Players need to collect raw materials, hire apprentices, and keep a watchful eye on their workforce. These are the treacherous times, and rival architects will stop at nothing to slow your progress. Will you remain virtuous, or be found in the company of thieves and black marketeers? Architects of the West Kingdom is designed by Shem Phillips, published by Garphill Games for 2 to 5 players with a playtime of 60 to 80 minutes. So join me as we go through a setup and playthrough of Architects of the West Kingdom. Alright everyone, we've got a game set up for 3 players, and I know it's a little bit difficult to see the landscape of the board out here, but I'll zoom in just a moment. But let me go ahead and talk through the initial setup so that you can jump in and start playing. So everyone should receive a player board, a tableau, with their 20 meeples or workers. Everyone has the exact same number. They're also going to have 2 tokens that they're going to place over on the Valor track as well as up at the Cathedral, which I'll talk about in just a moment. There's a card draft mechanic as well, so everyone is going to receive 4 building cards, and then they're going to actually go through and draft one, pass them to the next player, draft another, so on and so forth, and then discard the final, so that you'll end up with 3 buildings in your hand. Whoever starts first is going to receive 3 coins. Then every subsequent player will receive 1 additional. So player 2 will get 4, and player 3 will get 5. You're also going to deal out, the buildings, as you'll see, are represented with a green back on their cards. So once you've doled out the initial draft for the buildings, go ahead and place the rest of them on the board in this location next to the workshop. Then is your apprentice pool in the workshop as well. You're going to randomly deal out from the blue back deck, which represents all the apprentices. Let's see, there we go, all the apprentices. So you're going to deal out 8 of them in any order here. And then each of them have different icons. As you'll see, this guy up here in the upper left has a stone mason. This one represents an artisan, and this one a woodworker. I'll go over the rest of the cards in just a minute. Additionally, you're going to start in 2 coins into the tack stand. You're then going to put your cathedral reward cards here. You're actually going to discard some of them depending on the number of players that you have. So there's always going to be 2 more than the players, or sorry, you're going to have 9 total. There's 11 in the total deck if you've got a 6 or a 5-player game. But we're just going to dump them all right there. We've got our artisans over off to the side, and then we're also going to put the debt cards represented in black next to the guardhouse. Okay, so that's your initial setup. Player board, 20 meeples, coins, building cards, drafting 3, and then setting up the rest of the materials. Now, off on the sides, off camera, we've got the rest of the bank. We've got resources, brick represented with the red wooden pieces, stone represented here with these, all the way up there, gold, wood, and marble. Oh, sorry, one final setup piece here in the black market in the lower left. You're going to take all the black market cards, shuffle them up with their 2-sided facing up. So they're 2-sided, so here everything has 2 icons, and then on the back side they'll have 4 icons. How that's going to work is whenever an event is triggered, you're always going to then flip that over onto its 4-sided resource. Okay. So that's the initial setup of the game. You're ready to kind of dive in, but let's go ahead and zoom in and see what all of the different areas do. So we'll go ahead and start all the way in the upper left at the guild hall. All right, let's see. This is going to be a little bit shaky, but we can manage. All right, guild hall. Whenever you build a building or contribute at the cathedral, what you're going to do is you're going to take a meeple and you're going to put it in the upper left position. You'll notice here in a 3-player game, you're only going to go up to this spot. In a 4-player here and a 5-player here. So you're going to put meeples all the way over here in a 3-player game and then go down to the next row. The cathedral. You'll notice that also in the cathedral, you'll get additional victory points. And there's only so many spots, so only one person will be able to receive the top spot in the cathedral. The mines. For every worker placed there, you're going to be able to receive 1 brick plus 1 brick per person or per worker in the location, or for every 2 workers, you may select 1 gold. Oh man, this is going to be really shaky. Sorry about that, guys. I'll get a stabilizer so I can try to do this better in the future. The guardhouse. A lot of things happening at the guardhouse. For every person you have there, you may take 1 action. You can pay. You'll receive 1 coin per person that you arrest into the guardhouse. I'll address that in just a second. You can free all of your people that are in jail. You can pay 5 coins or take a debt and lose a valor, represented here by the black plus sign and the purple, to release your players from all the other player boards, or pay 6 coin to pay off a debt, as indicated by the black flipping card. So then you would take your debt card and flip it over, so you no longer lose 2 victory points at the end of the game. Coming over here to the tax stand, you can place a worker there, lose 2 valor, and rob the tax stand, or collect the taxes, I should say. The king's storehouse. For every person there, you get 1 action, so you can either exchange 2 stone, wood, or brick to go up 1 valor, or exchange 3 wood or stone and collect 1 marble. At the silversmith, you can get 1 coin plus 1 coin per person. So if you have 2 people there, you would receive 3, 4 people, you would receive 5, so on and so forth. At the forest, you collect wood. At the town center, you'll be able to arrest groups of players in different places. At the workshop, you'll be able to draft more buildings. So for every person that you have there, you'll get 1, and then you'll get 1 additional per 2 that you have there. Or pay 4 coins and hire an apprentice from here. When an apprentice is hired, let's say I grab this guy, these will slide down. Okay, so that's all the places on the board. Let me go ahead and get myself set back up. Okay, after the shaky spell is over, there's going to be a lot of stuff off camera, but let's go ahead and start talking about the different iconography and what things do. So you'll notice throughout there are red coins and there are silver or brown looking coins on the board, as represented, say, here at the workshop. 2 red and 2 brown. Or here at the town center, 1 red and 1 brown. Or up here in the guardhouse, you've got, say, to pay off a debt, 3 red and 3 brown. Red is indicated is what you'll pay to the tax stand, and the rest is to the general supply. So if you hire here at the workshop an apprentice for 4 coins, you're going to pay 2 to the tax stand and 2 to the general supply. Oh, sorry, I didn't address the black market. Sorry. And then down here at the black market are the other things that you can do. So you'll be able, only 3 people can come down here at the black market. So throughout the board, there are large circles, as represented, say, here at the workshop, or small circles like you would see here at the black market. The small circles indicate that only 1 person may occupy that spot. The large circles, any number of workers can be placed there from any player. The purple slash, as indicated here at the black market or at the tax stand, represents your valor track all the way over here. So you would either go up or down in valor. And then on the valor track, you'll also see some additional icons. All the way on the left is a orange building with an X through it, which indicates that if your valor is at 4, you cannot build at the cathedral. Subsequently, if your valor is at 10, then you may not go into the black market. So it's an interesting balance between utilizing the black market or not being able to build at the cathedral. But as you lose valor, you'll lose victory points, but you'll also be able to pay less to the tax. So example, if I manage to get all the way down to say 0 valor, well, at this moment it's worth -9 victory points, I would be able to pay 2 less at any place for the tax stand. So at the workshop, it would only cost me 2 coins to the supply. Additional iconography. Green plus signs indicate a building card going into your hand. A blue plus sign indicates a worker or an apprentice going into your hand. This kind of wrapped up person here indicates that you are collecting workers from locations. As represented up at the guardhouse, when it's the meeples represented by the broken ribbon, that is you pulling your workers off of a player's board. So this is putting them on to your player board, and the other is taking them off. And that's about it. So that's the initial setup. There's a lot happening, guys, but as we dive in right now, you'll see that once you get going, the turns are pretty simple. So, what is the end game condition? Well, the end game condition is when the final meeple is placed all the way up here at the guild hall for whatever number of players that you're playing. So for us, in a 3-player game, each row will get 4 meeples total, so 4 by 4. Once 16 buildings or 16 contributions to the cathedral have been made, the game will end. The person that triggers the end game event will also get 1 final turn. So if player 1, for example, triggers the end game event, then player 2 will get a turn, player 3 will get a turn, and then first player will get 1 final turn to try to secure any additional victory points. And then one additional kind of mechanic, as indicated at the guardhouse as well as the black market, is this little black bag with 3 arrows. This is a black market reset. On a black market reset, that would happen whenever all 3 black market positions are occupied, or whenever the first in the 3rd row and the first in the 4th row in the guild hall get occupied, a black market reset happens. All players in the black market immediately go to the guardhouse. And then as you see in the guardhouse, you would immediately flip this over here, making this small black market turn into the large black market, thus resetting the black market down here. In the guardhouse, any player with 3 or more workers in the guardhouse will lose 1 valor. The person with the most workers in the guardhouse will take 1 debt. This is not multiplicative, so it's not if you have 6 workers in there, you receive -2 valor. It's 3 or more. Any person with 3 or more will receive the -1 valor. Okay, and that's everything. I think we're pretty much ready to dive in. How a turn happens is, on your turn, you'll place 1 meeple and do the action of the turn. Then the next person goes, they'll place 1 meeple, and that's their turn. So as you go through, the interesting thing about this game is that everything becomes compounding. So after you place 1 meeple at, say, the forest, you'll get 1 wood. On your next turn, if you place another worker there, you'll receive 2 wood. 3 workers, 3 wood. Now, another thing to keep in mind is that you're not going to collect in all the locations that you have. You're only collecting on the 1 spot that you've activated on that turn. So let's see how a couple of turns get played. Let's take a look at our cards and I guess go into a little bit of additional iconography on there. Okay, so here's our building cards. I didn't get any in this hand, but I'll pull up this one and address it. So in the building cards, in the upper right-hand corner is how much this building is worth, 4 victory points. Let's see if I can get this to focus. In the upper left, the cost in resources. So this cost 1 brick, 5 wood, and 1 stone. what I'll get is if you see a flag icon here, let's try that. There we go. The flag icon will indicate an end game scoring event. Oh, come on. Focus on me, camera. There we go. And at the end of the game, if I have this museum built, I'll receive 1 valor per 2 buildings that I've created or had built. So once I have it built, I'll put it in front of me face up. Otherwise, it'll stay face down. This one, at the end of the game, for every valor, or I receive a valor, per 2 debt that have been paid off. This one, I'll receive 1 valor per 2 gold that I currently have. And then also in the upper left of this one, you'll see 3 icons, which indicate I'll need a woodworker, an artisan, and a stonemason in order to build this castle. Some cards will only have 1, maybe 2, but this one has all 3. So in order to build this castle, I would need to hire at least 3 apprentices. Here, this acolyte is represented as a stonemason. There we go. And then you'll see this also purple icon. This purple lightning bolt is an immediate action, meaning when I hire this apprentice, I get this immediate action, which is up here. I'll receive 1 valor. But then also he gets kind of additional. So anytime I build at the cathedral, I'll also receive 2 coins. The artisan, you'll see that this one has a location. Anytime I build at the king's storehouse, I'll receive, or I'll pay 1 brick to get 1 valor. So at the king's storehouse, you see that it normally takes, say, 2 brick to get 1 valor. But if I have this apprentice hired, maybe, no. I'll get better at this focusing thing. All right, so at the king's storehouse, pay 1 brick instead of 2. And then this woodworker here, the peddler, a couple of things. So immediately if I hire the peddler, yes, he contributes to being a woodworker, but I'll lose 1 valor immediately. And this is just a one-time thing. However, this effect here is ongoing, meaning whenever a black market reset happens, I will gain 2 coins. So whenever 3 people occupy the black market, or whenever the black market reset is triggered up there, I'll receive 2 coins if I hire this person. This one here, you'll see at the forest, I'll gain 1 extra wood if I have this person hired. Anyway, you get the idea. So let's dive right in. On my first turn, I am going to go ahead and let's look at my buildings. What I maybe want to try to build. 6 brick, 1 wood to build the reservoir. 1 brick, 5 wood to build the museum. I like the museum a little bit better, but this one's a little bit easier to probably obtain. So, you know, let's just kind of dive in and try to build ourselves a reservoir. So I'm going to immediately put this first person here at the forest, and I'm going to collect my 1 wood, putting it on my board here. Now it's second player's turn. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what they have in their hand. All right, they've got a university, which, ooh, wow, that's a big one, requires, it's worth 11 victory points. They will gain 1 valor immediately, and then they will, if they, at the end of the game, if they have 0 debt cards, they will gain 2 victory points. Silver market, and then a fountain. The fountain's pretty cheap, so let's try to go for that one. So they need stone and marble. So seeing that they need some marble, and marble is not the easiest thing to acquire early on in the game, and all their cards require marble. But then they also need an artisan to build the silver market. You know what? They've got 4 coins. Let's go ahead and do an early hire. So they're going to take their worker, and they're going to come to the workshop. They're going to pay their 2 to the tax stand and 2 to the general supply, because they started with 4 coins, and they're going to, ooh, no, sorry, they actually can't do that. Taking that one back. So as you'll see, you can't pick anyone. You have to have multiple workers in a location. But if you wanted to skip a place, you could always put a coin down to hire the next person if you're short the number of workers that are needed for that. So let's go ahead and take our workers, since we can't do that just yet, and we're going to need some brick and some wood, I see. Oh, no, that's my cards. Player 2. They're going to need a bit of everything, but let's go for that fountain. So let's take them to the quarry. Blue worker into the quarry, taking stone into their hand. All right, now it's red turn. Red, let's see what they've got and what they might want to work towards. You know what? Red is looking at it and saying, okay, these guys are already trying to scrounge up some resources. I've got some pretty okay cards here, but it's going to take me a minute. So they're going to take a slightly different path. They're going to try to go ahead and build into the cathedral. So they're going to come here to the mines and get their initial 2 brick. All right, now it's first player's turn again. They still need 6 bricks, so they're also going to go into the mines and then get their 2 brick. That's their turn. Coming back over here, back to the quarry for this player. Now they get 2 resources because now they have 2 workers in the quarry. So now they're up to 3 stone in their hand. There's no maximum number of resources that you can carry. The only maximums are the number of cards that you can have in your hand at any given time. So at the end of your turn, you can only have 6 cards in your hand, but resources are unlimited. Okay, so red player. Red player is going to go also back to the mines. Now they've placed their second worker there. And that was their goal. They wanted to get that gold nugget. So they're going to take, for 2 workers, the gold nugget. Notice the mines is an or, not an and. So you can only do one or the other. Back to purple. Purple again is trying to get here. So they're going to come also to the forest. But they're going to take, instead of gold, 3 brick. Now, purple player, first player, is up to 5 brick. So we're almost where we need to be to build the reservoir. Okay, blue's turn. They are in need of marble. So they can get marble by coming here to the black market, paying 1 coin and losing a valor. So you know what? They're going to shortcut it. Let's do that. So they're going to come here, get their 1 marble, and they're also going to get 1 wood for that. 1 wood. But then blue is going to go down 1 valor. Okay, red player's turn. So they've got their 1 gold. Now they're going to go ahead and build into the cathedral. Now the cost of the cathedral, as you can see, on tier 1, it costs 1 gold. And you must burn a card as indicated by the X on the green. So you have to burn a building card. On the second tier, you must exchange 4 stone or wood, any combination of, plus burn a card. On tier 3, 1 marble and burn a card. On tier 4, 8 stone or wood, any combination of, and burn a card. And finally, the person that builds into the top tier of the cathedral must pay 2 marble, 2 gold, and burn a card. But on this turn, we're going to go ahead and burn our 1 gold. We're going to take our worker, and as indicated, since we've built into the cathedral, we're going to put them here at the guild hall. And then red is going to be first into the cathedral building. Back to player 1. Okay, so they're still trying to get this built, and they need 1 more brick in order to do it. So they're going to go back into the mines, which is a little overkill because now they're going to get 4 brick for that. But that's okay because now they've got a little extra resources for a future turn. Okay, coming back over here now to this player, to the blue player, they've got enough resources to build their fountain. It takes no requirements on apprentices, but it does require 3 stone and 1 marble. So let's go ahead and pay our 3 stone, pay our 1 marble, and then we've built this building. Now there's not a lot of room, but you would sort of build your buildings around your tableau on the table, so this person would have this built off to the side, face up, indicating now that immediately they're going to go back up the valor track, +1, and then if ever they, at the end of the game, for every debt card they have, they'll lose a victory point. So if they incur any debt, they're going to want to make sure they have that paid off. Okay, Coming back now to red player. They've built into the cathedral, and maybe that's the route that they want to kind of take. They want to just rush into the cathedral as best as they can. So, seeing now that they need 4 wood or 4 stone, they're going to think about what they want to do next. So, looking around. Oh, sorry, I forgot to burn a card when that person built into the cathedral. So, I'll burn just this card, throw it to the bottom of the building deck. All right, so a red player is going to need some wood, so they're going to go ahead and put themselves into the forest. Getting them their 1 wood. And then the next player. So that's it, guys. That's basically how the game is played. Round and round it goes. There's going to be a lot of additional things to do as you're going through it, like arresting players that are, getting too heavy in a location. So, for example, I could come here to the town center, pay 1 coin into the tax stand, and then say arrest these guys. I would first put them here on my tableau, and then on a later turn, I would need to go to the guardhouse, and then I could turn them in to the jail and then get 1 coin per person I've arrested. Or I could let them sit on my board, forcing the other player to be -2 people at any given time, unless they wanted to go to the guardhouse and pay the 5 coins or incur the debt and minus valor to get them out. So anyway, guys, that's how Architects of the West Kingdom is played. There's a lot going on, I know, but it's a really involved, fast-paced strategy game, and definitely one of my favorites. And I'll go into a little bit more in depth in just a moment. But I hope you've kind of got an idea of how this played out. And another thing that I forgot to do as well, when this person built into the cathedral, they get a reward. So they would actually, red player would go up 1 valor and gain 2 stone when they built into the cathedral. So they would go up 1 valor and then they would collect 2 stone. So there's a lot of things happening. You just got to kind of pay attention and make sure that you're doing all the actions of the locations. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Hey, guys. So that's Architects of the West Kingdom. Thanks for joining. So my initial thoughts on this game are, really it's a Shem Phillips game for me, and that means it's usually going to be some solid quality. It's a worker placement genre, which is one of my favorites, so definitely something that I really wanted to add to my collection. One thing that I did note in the playthrough is that there is a 2-player variant. I don't often play them because for whatever reason, games that are for multiple players that have 2-player variants, they just never really seem that great optimized. But in this game, the 2-player variant adds a 3rd ghost player, so to speak. So a 2-player version is available for those that want to try it out. But what I really enjoy about this game is that it is fast-paced. So there's not a whole lot of downtime in between turns, and you got to be thinking about, kind of what you're doing, but not letting the other players get too far ahead of you either. There's a few of the kind of take that mechanics, which I really do enjoy about a game like this, especially when you can collect workers and sort of hold them hostage before turning them into the guardhouse. So again, if a player's starting to get a little bit too resource rich in any area, then you can burn a turn to take it upon yourself to try to thwart that individual, which is pretty cool. But understand that you're also burning a turn. So every turn in this game is valuable, and that's really what I enjoy. The components are really good. So all the materials are wooden. The board is beautifully designed by the Miko. A couple of things I like. The metal coins, also love them in all of his games. So definitely a huge fan of that. The only drawback for me about a game like this, really on the component side, is the player boards. They're not kind of thick cardboard, which I prefer greatly. They're, again, that flimsy stock card and whatnot, which, okay, it's all right, keep costs down, but for me, I like a little added luxury to some of my games. Another, I guess, drawback to the game is that, if you're trying to get something done, but then a couple of the other players are starting to gang up on you, it can really set you back. So that's a mild frustration. So if you're playing this game with some close friends, you should be okay. But if you guys are borderline enemies, then you might want to think twice about bringing them to your game night. Anyway, guys, those are my thoughts about Architects of the West Kingdom. If you want to add another great worker placement to your genre or to your collection, definitely add this one. I've got Paladins of the West Kingdom on pre-order. It was on Kickstarter earlier in 2019. I think it's out on shipment now, so pretty excited to bring that one to you guys soon. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Until next time.